Apple Gift Card is a practical gift that unlocks a world of entertainment and fun. You can send it via email or give a physical card to your loved ones. Your friends and family can spend it on their favorite Apple services, including Apple subscriptions. Apple Gift Card can be used to buy all things Apple: products, accessories, apps, games, movies, TV shows, iCloud Plus, and more. Visit apple.com for details and to send Apple Gift Cards to your friends and family this holiday season.
In 2023 alone, the American Cancer Society estimates that nearly 2 million people in the U.S. will be diagnosed with cancer, and more than 600,000 people will die from the disease. This means that for every minute that goes by, approximately 4 new cases are found and 1 person passes from cancer. While this complex disease has no easy fix, the upside is that prevention, awareness, and treatment have all come a long way. For Shannon Miller, a former American gymnast and 7-time Olympic medalist, early detection was a key in her fight against ovarian cancer. Go back to 2010 and she remembers almost canceling her annual checkup with her gynecologist.
I think if you had asked me beforehand if I had any signs or symptoms of ovarian cancer, I would have told you absolutely not. I felt fine. In fact, I had called at my doctor's office late in 2010, ready to cancel my next doctor's appointment because I was going to be out of town. And I thought, well, I don't need to try to squeeze anything in. I'll just push it till the next year and that'll be fine. I felt fine. And it was that morning on the phone when I had called up to postpone it that I thought better of it. I was already working as an advocate in health and fitness. And I thought, well, I'm not walking the walk. I need to go ahead and do this. So I went over that day. I told my doctor I felt fine. And in that same visit, that same 10 minutes, he found a baseball-sized cyst on my left ovary.
Miller remembers the next few days and weeks being a whirlwind of scans, tests, and an exploratory surgery. When the results came back, she was diagnosed with a rare form of ovarian cancer. She was just 33 years old and, as a former Olympic gymnast, had always lived a healthy and active life.
Ovarian cancer wasn't really on my radar. I was thinking about diabetes, which runs in my family, heart disease, breast cancer, health, and general fitness. And so when I learned that I had 3 of the primary signs of ovarian cancer, I was shocked. I had bloating, I had sudden weight loss, I was dealing with stomach aches, but I had written all of those off as female issues or post-baby body going berserk issues, and I had just discounted them all. And just like many people, I pushed them aside and powered through. And that was a huge lesson that I took away from the experience: is listen to your body.
And this is true across all types of cancer and other diseases. If something feels off, it's better to get it checked sooner rather than later. It's also important to stay up to date on preventative screenings and physicals. Miller wouldn't have caught her cancer so early if she had put off that annual checkup.
We are not going to know the signs and symptoms for every issue out there, but what we can do is get to our regular doctor's appointments and screenings, listen to our body so that when something does seem off, we're able to advocate for ourselves, go in, speak up when something feels off. And I think making a list is so important. It's something that I've started to do because a lot of times we'll have issues, but then they go away and we forget about them. But if we write it down, the next time we go to see our doctor, you can actually look back at the list and you can say, you know what? I had 10 stomach aches within the last month. That doesn't seem quite right.
Thankfully for Miller, the discovery of her cancer came quickly. However, this isn't the case for everyone. Some patients may need to go through an extensive number of scans and appointments to get an answer.
It is really important to be your own best health advocate. Nobody knows your body better than you. You know when something doesn't feel off. So I'm a big proponent of making sure that you have that discussion with your physician. Have the discussion again if you need to. And any doctor out there should tell you it's okay to get a second opinion. It's okay to get a third opinion. That means more information. It means more education for you and making sure that you're getting the right treatment. And at the end of the day, that's what's the most important thing.
In Miller's case, her treatment plan meant an aggressive chemotherapy regimen to fight her ovarian cancer head on.
My oncologist was so upfront about what was to be expected. I would definitely lose my hair in the first 2 weeks. There was going to be GI issues. And I heard these things, but I don't know that they actually really sunk in until I started chemotherapy. And especially with the GI issues, it was by far the most challenging thing I had ever done. I had never known nausea or fatigue, dehydration, and the way that I did during chemo.
During these months, Miller stayed focused on her own journey and stopped comparing her progress to others.
As an athlete, I go out and I perform the best balance beam routine I can possibly do, regardless of what anyone else is doing or anything else going on around me. That's my job, go out and do my best. And so I tried to really focus on, during the journey, during treatment, just go out and do my best each day. And sometimes my best really wasn't all that much, but if I could walk around the dining room table twice in a day, then that was a pretty good day for me.
Despite all of the hurdles, she got through it. Looking back, she doesn't underestimate the power of having a supportive care system.
It took me a little bit to realize that I could and should reach out for help. When I was initially going through a lot of these GI issues when chemo started, I kept it to myself. I didn't want to complain. I didn't want to be a burden. I didn't want to talk about how tired I was or how nauseous I felt. And yet I landed back in the hospital because of dehydration. And I think it was at that point that I realized not only could I not do this alone, but I didn't have to, that it was okay to reach out, that there was strength, not only in accepting help when offered, but there was strength in asking for help when needed.
Today, she's been cancer-free for 12 years and shares her story to raise awareness around the importance of early detection.
I'm just making sure that I stay up with my screenings and my regular exams. And I'm now going twice a year, which is great. And it's still hard. It's still hard to go in. It's hard to go in and wonder, what if it's come back? But I think mentally, I have come to the realization that if it comes back, I want to know at the earliest possible moment so that I can fight as hard as I possibly can.
To find out more about this topic and our guest, Shannon Miller, head to viewpointsradio.org. Follow us at Viewpoints Radio on Instagram, X, and Facebook to support our show and find more behind the scenes. This story was written by our executive producer, Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Gary Price. This segment is brought to you by Jackson Hewitt. Need money for the holidays? Avoid the yikes before Christmas. Hurry into Jackson Hewitt for a holiday loan on your tax refund, up to $1,000. Early refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Finance charge applies. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com. Coming up on Viewpoints.
There was lots of little moments, things like me asking my 4-year-old son to come sit on my lap and him saying, "No, Mom, you smell bad and your teeth are purple."
She was a corporate success, but behind closed doors, she was downing 2 bottles of wine a day. Then
they push me, shove me, kick me, punch me, jab me with the American flag still attached to a flagpole.
A former Capitol Police sergeant recounts the traumatic events of January 6th. I'm Marty Peterson.
And I'm Gary Price. These stories in depth on your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram to learn more about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify. Plus, you'll always find previous segments and more information about our guests at viewpointsradio.org. Join us again next week for another edition of Viewpoints.
When you save on auto insurance for driving safe with USAA Safe Pilot, you'll feel like a big deal, even in a traffic jam. Save up to 30% with USAA Safe Pilot. Restrictions apply.